Welcome to the meeting of the Weare Board of Selectmen, May 6, 2019. We start with a non-public session to basically meet and greet and discuss things at the PD with the acting chief, Mike French. And we will carry on with the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Public comment.
Oh, they're all here for the...
I figured as much, but I got to offer it.
Offer it up.
Do your thing first. That I just handed you.
Yeah, I knew that. So, all right. No public comment. That's what we like to hear. All right. That came from the board, right?
Yeah.
The other board.
Yes.
Okay. Bob? Yeah. Bob? You have something from the trustees? On behalf of the Weare Public Library and its board of trustees, we'd like to thank and commend Robert. Last name?
Hooray.
Hooray.
It's not pear, it looks like pear.
It does, correct.
Get the cure.
Yeah.
Blame my grandfather, he came from
I won't blame
My
anybody.
mother was from Alabama. His wife was from Lee, Mass. She was a Raymond, so it's more English.
More English.
Yeah.
So, for his years of service and tireless efforts serving the community and the public library as both a trustee and a chairman, Bob joined the library board as a trustee in 2014. In 2016, he took the role of chairman and immediately took the daunting task of recruiting and hiring a new director for the library. Along the way, there were major projects that Bob personally oversaw, including making significant upgrades to the library infrastructure. Not the least of was the overhaul of the HVAC system, and included replacing the furnace, upgrading the backup generator. He also oversaw structural improvements in the library entrance, which included remediating the icing problem in the front door and upgrading handicap access to the parking lot. During Bob's tenure as chairman, a project that was also launched to upgrade the electrical wiring throughout the library building. It's old? The wiring?
Well,
I don't
I think he was kind of Mickey Mouse.
Under Bob's leadership, library hours were also extended on Saturdays and expanded to include Saturday hours during summertime. He also took the lead on the design, purchase, and placement of our new library sign at the entrance to the parking lot. Bob's dedication and service to the board and his leadership as its chair have been extraordinary. It gives us great pleasure to thank him and wish him well in his future endeavors. Sincerely, Mark Carey, Acting Chairman, Library Trustees.
Wow.
For your service.
Thank you very much.
You could have the letter too.
Yes,
Job
sir.
well done.
And I'd like
Job well
to
done.
thank people that vote in the town for giving me the ability to serve the town, which I really enjoyed. And a lot of these efforts that I did cost the town no money. There was money through a trust fund that was left to the library, which I think is the way it should be.
Absolutely.
But some people agree with me.
She wants your picture. She wants your picture.
I won't say too much.
Bob, turn around and stand between those two.
Okay.
Hey guys, stay right there, the three of you. There you go.
There you go. Yeah, great. Super.
Got it? Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Mr. Trustee.
Thank you.
You know, I really appreciate it.
Congratulations. Yes.
And
Bob.
like Arnold said, I'll be there.
Thank you, Bob.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Great work.
Thank you for your
Yes.
time and
Yes.
dedication.
Yes.
Nope. You're taking a break.
Thank you.
You know.
All right. All right, brings us to a joint meeting with the library trustees regarding the employee.
So Brenda
Raise.
Brenda is now the new chair, Brenda?
Correct.
Brenda is now the new chair of the library. She brought me a memo and wanted to be put on the agenda.
Yep.
To discuss a raise for an employee, basically, is what the subject is.
Yep.
And so what she's asked to talk about is to have a better understanding of how to proceed to get a pay raise for the director. She's seen, or the trustees have seen, employees receive raises without any discussion, also raises that were at the ballot box.
Yes.
So the accomplishments of the library director are many. The library has now become a place where all patrons are welcome, young and old. The director's gotten international notice for the Weare with the publication of the Weare in the World. Library employees who report to him are flourishing, and to top it off, this is one of the few departments that stays within its budget, and in fact, through better management of funds, actually decreased their budget for the year. I'm hopeful that with our guidance, that they could move forward with the issue. So I don't know if you want to add anything more, Brenda, or if you want to come up, you have to talk from there, so we can all hear you.
And our viewing world can hear.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, my letter explained a lot of it, but I know that we can just stick it in a budget and hope that it goes through, but the library is trying to be very transparent. And we want people to know ahead of time. And instead of, I know the police chief got a really big raise and the fire department chief got a raise, and supposedly it was from money that they already had in their budgets. Our director would not be happy if we did something like that. So I'm just trying to get a better understanding from you guys as to how we should approach this. I looked at the salary from a number of towns surrounding us, and one of the things I found is we're really on the low end of all the towns that surround us. And one of the interesting things that I found was that there are 7 towns in New Hampshire that only require a high school diploma to be the head of the library. Their salaries range anywhere from 32 to 49, which is higher than our starting around here. There are other 7 towns that require just a bachelor's, and their rates are also higher than what we started. They're 46 to 55. And I just kind of found that amazing that we've got basically 14 towns in New Hampshire where you have to have, you basically can come through high school and run the library and start at a better salary. And that's why I thought if I came to you guys, you could give me ideas. You could help us look at this a little bit better. Because one of the things we also want to think about is that obviously Mike's not going to stay there forever. So at the time when a new director does decide, when Mike decides to move on, we want to make sure that we have a competitive salary that we can offer people. And we also want to think about fairness. And when you look at Mike's background and what he's done for this town and how he's turned that library around, fairness really does play a big part in what we're trying to do here. So I guess the ball is in your court to try to give us some ideas as to how we should move on this.
Right, and I think, again, with different, that's the word I'm looking for, right? I do this all the time now. Yeah, it is, yeah. Again, we as a town as a whole see that different departments, employees, department heads, the payment is off, and that's why we did what we did this last year with the DPW, employees. We did a similar, study of surrounding areas. Then it came forward as a warrant article. Now, I'm not saying that's probably the way it should go for the library as an as the individual, but again, that's what we did to try and help remedy that problem. I think it's a known problem across municipalities and where specifically. My own feeling would be, I would think, and this is just me thinking as an individual on the board, is not quite tuck it in a budget for and hope it pass, but I think that's been past practice on our side anyways.
And it does seem to be practice here.
Yeah.
That you just
Right.
kind of stick it in a budget and hope that
Yeah.
nobody notices.
Right,
And
on a proposed budget type thing, right.
I don't know as it's to not have anybody notice, because I think that the more that you sell it
Right.
to the people and let the townspeople know, just like what you did here with us tonight, when you come in, when the trustees come in, I know that Mike had made the presentation of the budget last year, so maybe somebody from the trustees would need to come in at the same time.
And do that presentation.
And do the presentation as to why you'd be raising the budget for his salary, because I'm sure that would be a line item that you would be raising. And, give your spiel as to why you would do it, and get it out there as much as possible as to why you're doing it.
And I think that you guys as the trustees in the library have a much better avenue and grasp on. I won't call it selling it.
Yes.
But
Well,
informing
Yes, informing people
with
of it.
with the Weare in the World, with the Facebook page. I mean, the library is 110% huge ahead of the town as a whole.
Right.
As a municipality, with just those two.
Yeah, Facebook, I know you have a Facebook.
Right, the Facebook account. I mean, that's my go-to. That's one of the things I flagged for the first one. That's what I want to see, and it's very, very good. And that's the thing. So information to the voters is huge. That right there is worth its weight in gold. Because if nobody knows about it, usually if it's a monetary value of up, it gets voted down.
And,
But-
and I hate to interrupt you, but I guess I'm always concerned about, perfect example, this last voting session. We had a warrant article for what I considered a fairly small amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets voted down. But yet, something, to me, as silly as fireworks, people are more than
Passes.
happy to spend
Right.
money for that.
Right, right.
So it's stuff like that I'm trying to get around, and I know Mike, like I say, he really wants to be transparent with all
Yeah.
of this.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
everybody.
the more exposure that you can
Right.
get, I guess
Yeah.
that's the word.
I think that's what it boils down to. I mean, and we as a board support warrant articles or don't support warrant articles. That's what this board is supposed to do. I'm sure that the library knows that we support the warrant article for the expanded hours. But again, it all boils back to the people behind the curtain. And I think there's and I'll kind of use it's probably a bad example, but I'll use the PD. It takes a long time for an attitude to change. We had the so many years of less than perfect conditions over there, and a lot of people remember that. And not saying that the library was ever in that situation, because it's not, but a lot of times it's just education of where the library is, where the PD is, where the town is today. Because some people just come to town, they go home, they go to work, they go back home. They may stop at Country 3 on the way home or one of the stores and grab a gallon of milk, but they don't get out in the town, they don't see anybody. The fireworks go off in the center of town, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
They really don't know, and that's what we're finding. I mean, as board members, that's one of the things I've found is the lack of information that people have when they go in that ballot box. I mean, we we have what 1,500 voters this last time,
Yeah, that's 6,000 altogether.
in a town of 6,000 registered voters. It's sad. It really is. I mean, these people, and some people don't care. They pay that's escrow in their mortgage, and they kick it off, and they don't care. But I'm not that way. That's why I'm sitting here today. But I think a lot of it rolls back to just information of where, the status of the departments and what we're doing, and again, I mean, Channel 6, perfect example. All the activities that are going on at the library.
Right.
It's great. I think again, and I'm not discrediting anybody that's been there in years past at all. I mean, it's not a task that I would want to uphold at all. Is trying to manage the library and all that goes along with it. But it really has come leaps and bounds.
Right.
I mean, again, with the Weare in the World and the Facebook page, and I stopped by there on Saturday. It was a rainy Saturday. I recently purchased a house not too long ago, and I couldn't do anything in it, so I stopped by, and I says, Mike, show me around the place. I said, I haven't been here in probably, we'll say 14 years.
Oh, okay.
All right, and he showed me around, and it was great. I was absolutely floored. I mean, I looked back, and there was a card catalog back there. He said, "Yeah, that's where we keep the letters for the sign." I says, "Oh, well, at least I knew what it was." So he's like, but he said the amount of electronic stuff that goes on now, and I just again, I'll say it. I was ignorant to what goes on over there.
Okay,
You know?
well,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe we do need to do a little bit more public information to people to let them know. And I do know that that is one of my goals this year, is to make sure that people really know what's going on at the library, because I know our warrant article is going to be out there again next year. And I'd like some of these things to start passing.
Right. Yeah.
At the library.
Yeah.
So-
And we had, you know, to go back to the Warren articles, we had, I mean, there was a fire truck on there for almost 4 years, wasn't it? The money's in an account. It's a special revenue fund. The money's paid for. There was no tax impact. Voted down 3 or 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
You know, with no real reason. I mean, again, no tax impact. You know, it's just, it's what people think when they roll in behind the booth. So,
Okay.
but I won't bet, because I'll lose like Kentucky Derby. So,
Well, we hope you guys to keep coming to the library and
Yes.
continue to support us.
oh yeah, absolutely, we always
And,
will.
And, Mike also has been getting exposure, like, he's always at Old Home Day.
Exactly.
And, all these different events.
Yep.
I'm sure he's open or over at the
Kind of surprised I didn't see him for breakfast Sunday.
Patriot, yeah. So I'm.
No, you're right. He
so-
tries to be everywhere, and
Yes.
I wish there were a
With
clone of him
activities.
that we could put even more places.
Yeah.
Because he is very proactive at that, and
Yes,
and,
I mean, I think-
trying to get out there to meet people, introduce them to the library, and he's great at that. So.
Right.
And I think a lot of people, and again, I'm speaking for myself here. Anybody wants to chime in, go ahead. But we're still not in tune with what the library has to offer. Some people think it's just a bunch of old books and dusty shelf. It's not at all. It's not at all that. And I think it's going to take a lot of people to go through their foot traffic wise to really understand that.
Now, Brenda, you guys have a job description and stuff for him and all that, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Yes. I just, because you guys do have that authority to do the raise, but I.
Right.
And we know that, but
No,
Yeah,
but I think
I get
too
that,
that, and I know you know that. I'm just saying that, and I wasn't saying it,
No.
for the fire
Maliciously,
department. I'm just saying that, there is a lot of value in Mike. I mean, Mike brings a lot. Mike has done a lot.
Right.
it's
If
very
I had
short
more
tenure.
time, I'd go learn to play the guitar one time. I mean, that's always fascinated me. But there's
Right.
just little things that,
Yeah.
it's not just the books, it's the community that he's bringing
Yeah.
together.
Absolutely.
Because I saw the kids in there one day doing origami with him.
Yep.
And it was just phenomenal, the kids just folding paper.
Yep.
It was getting them away from an electronic to actually do something.
Right.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of value over there, and I just don't, it's not, I think sometimes the thought is, because they're all attached to this.
Oh, yeah.
We don't go and get a book to hold anymore, with Kindles and things like that. But it's not just the library.
Right.
It's more than that.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't aware of until
It's
basically.
more like a community,
Even
Right.
you
a
could
place
come
for the
Yeah.
community to go.
have classes at
I'd
night.
love to fold paper.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I've been over to a
Yeah.
couple of
Yeah,
his
no, I mean,
classes.
I just watched him and how he worked with the kids, and they couldn't figure something out, and he took the time and
Yeah.
it was just a neat experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, and the other thing too, Brenda, if you want, anytime you want to come here and just give out some information, or we can do something for you here to advertise something.
Oh, okay.
Whatever we
Okay.
can do, we
Let
will
us
definitely
know,
will.
and we can read something into the minutes for public on what's going on over there. Don't forget, Helene always came forward when there was stuff going on too. But if you had something, just want to zip me an email and say, hey, do you just want to let everybody know? We could take a few minutes and during public comment or anything and just read it into
Oh,
what's
okay.
going on.
I've kind of been surprised with some of the people that come forward from the town and go, hey, by the way, the Channel 6 is down, or I didn't get the minutes, or I'm like, you watch Channel 6, really? I have been surprised.
I haven't heard from anybody, yeah.
But a
So-
partnership, we could be a partner,
Yeah.
which
Right.
is
Oh,
what
absolutely,
we're
yeah.
after.
Yeah.
I'd like to see us all be partners,
Right.
Yeah.
We're all in
Oh,
it together.
Absolutely.
So,
The other thing is, I'd like to say that, Mike is, in his tenure, has, done a great job. And I've been over there a lot, because having 2 stepkids that are younger, they like to go over there. My stepson gets frustrated because a lot of the books he looks for aren't there, but we make do, because
But they will get them.
they will get them for him, so which is always good. And I can tell you, not just Mike, but the rest of the staff are always excellent to
Yeah.
deal with. So, and anybody that has something to do with that, and it does have a lot to offer, plus the meeting room downstairs. I've been down there for meetings
Yep.
with,
Absolutely, yeah.
with the scouts and stuff in the past, and it's been,
Yep.
yeah,
Right,
newly
yeah.
upgraded.
Flooring.
I couldn't go
But-
down there because it was
Flooring.
being upgraded, so.
Yeah, so, but, yeah, it's,
Yeah.
like I said, he's done a lot. And not that, like, Chris, when she was there, didn't do a lot, and it's just, it's,
Betsy might.
They've gone in
Betsy,
different
uh,
directions.
but
Right.
now it's.
Everybody brings a
he's-
new idea.
Exactly.
They bring in a new
Everybody brings
idea,
new ideas.
and so
Is that new
yeah,
room
I think,
16?
and like I said, everybody, and not just Mike. Mike's, it's a team, and the rest of the team has done
Yeah.
a real great
And
job.
You're right, and
Team
but
works well
he's,
together.
he's got his team working.
He's got them working in he's got them all
Exactly.
meshed together and working.
Exactly.
Right, yep.
They've done a great job, and Mike's done a great job leading that crew.
Exactly. Okay.
No, absolutely.
Thank you, guys. very,
Yes,
very much.
thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'd like to speak up.
Oh,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh.
Just come on to the mic.
I'll bring some of the past, up a little bit. When I was first trustee, Chris Haig was running the library. And the payroll wasn't being done by the town. It was done by the private concern. And most of the raises were giving in a bonus around Christmas time. But then after we hired Mike, switched it over to the town so they'd automatically get the town percentage of a raise, which they never got before. And last year, with the trustees, Mike got the 2% raise, and he got it added 2% extra because I saw the young lady that works for you, and I said, because during the budget, I says, we got this in the budget, I'd like to see an extra 2%. I gave her a paper from the employees where we all agreed upon it, and that's how we got the raise. I always thought that Mike is really smart. When I was interviewing people, we had a guy came from Kansas City, put together a library in Abu Dhabi. I mean, we had some pretty good people. A guy came from Maine, applied for the job. But I had known Mike from previous times that Chris Haig had him in. And it worked out pretty good. But I think also you can ask for money, but, you don't want to ask for too much.
Right.
I know he's worth a lot. But sometimes if you take a job, because he got quite a bit more than what Chris was getting when he was hired. So that was a pretty big increase for the town.
For the town.
And to go higher, you always got to think of the town a little bit, even though
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
great. And there was kind of a track record when I looked. Every 5 years he seemed to move on, which we knew that when we hired him. But that's my input. Sorry about the voice. I'm going to an ear, nose, and throat specialist. I had to wait to get this appointment. I sound like Rod Stewart. Maybe I should start recording records really quick.
It's your second calling.
Yeah, before my voice comes back to normal. And I'm not a smoker either.
So. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you guys
all.
very much.
All right. Department head committee items?
There's
I
none
don't see
here.
none here.
Nada.
You guys be careful.
Yeah. We'll move on to the meeting minutes.
I got the 22nd and 29th at like 2 a.m. and I just didn't get a chance to.
So we have the 15th.
You have the 15th, I believe. Everybody
Yep.
has them. You had them a week ago. You'll find them.
All right. Page 1.
Nothing.
Nothing on page 1? No.
Yeah.
Page 2.
Page 2, under the second paragraph under public hearing, at the end of the sentence where it's, let's see, the fourth line down, to either preserve it or rebuild it. So eliminate that and get.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Page 3. Anything else on page 2?
No.
3.
First sentence, His question is, do you think this is a priority for them instead of to them? And page 3, down the last paragraph, the second line down, that it is important. She felt that
It is important.
is important.
Okay. And it's on 3, 4.
I have to reread this. So it's like, this board, okay. Under community input, the 4th line down, board should have an apostrophe S, the board's responsibility.
Okay.
And then, 1, 2, 3, 4 lines down from there, it starts with interviewed. Over at the end where it says were brought to us.
I'm still trying to find the boards.
The board.
Oh,
Is it the first paragraph?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It says
second, the community input
this board responsibility to interview and hire.
should be this board's.
It's under community input paragraph.
Right, second paragraph?
Yes.
Under Helene's?
Nope.
Oh, no,
No.
community, no,
under,
the
under the first one.
first one then. 4th line down, or 5th line, 1, 2,
Under
3, 4,
community.
5.
Yeah.
This board's responsibility.
Oh, it
Interview.
should be apostrophe S. There's no
Yep.
S there now.
Correct.
Right.
Oh,
Correct.
Christ, I was looking for the boards. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear.
Down like 1, 2, 3, 4 more lines, it starts with interviewed.
Yep.
Towards the end, it says to up, it should be us.
To us.
Under the Helene Kirk paragraph, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 8th line down, attended instead of attending, over at the end of the sentence.
Says to Mrs. Kirk brings
Yep.
to the board. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Each wrote. The 1, 2, 3, 4th line up in that same paragraph starts with they each wrote a write-up. I just eliminated
Up.
up. I don't know if this is the way it should be reading. That same paragraph, the second line up, how they were going to deal with 2 towns, comma, getting to know the 2 towns.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, I don't know what it's supposed to say. Let's getting to know the 2 towns,
Oh.
to what was their approach for bullying.
Oh, because it was John Stark, it was Henniker and Weare.
Right. Oh, yeah, right.
So-
No, I knew what that part meant.
Right.
But are they getting to know the new 2 towns and what was their approach for bullying?
I guess the questions range from, in their case, how they were going to
Deal with 2 towns.
deal with getting to know and getting to know the towns of Weare and Henniker and what their approach was on bullying.
That's a good way to put it.
Yep.
Say that again.
I knew you had to ask that. The questions range from, in their case, how they're going to deal with getting to know the towns of Weare and Henniker and what their approach was for bullying.
Sounds good. Oh. Now, the first sentence in the next paragraph.
And this is still page 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that last sentence, I think it's supposed to be, he applauded the board for not,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Instead, he applauded the board.
So it's applauded.
End of that first sentence.
I'm
Get it?
sorry, which one?
The end of the first sentence where it's here, it's Gary. It says he applied. It should be a he applauded. Anything else on 4?
Yeah,
5?
nothing.
I got something on 5.
Oh, geez, what'd I miss?
Second paragraph, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 10th line down, it says the point of having them out in public, not up in public.
The sentence starts with also know
Yes,
as
for-
HR,
yes,
especially with about the laws
Yep.
of personnel.
The point of having them out in public, not up.
Cool.
Anything else in 5? 6?
Stated that everyone,
Oh, leave me be.
I put here is in that first sentence, here
I would
is
say has.
covered.
I would say has. Here has covered.
Oh, here has covered, okay. All right.
What one's that? Sorry.
So if top,
Second.
starts Bill Peterson. Stated that everyone here has covered, not here's covered.
It's just slang.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine that's what he said.
It could have been.
Third line down, and the next one with Lori Davis. It says, Miss Davis stated that she, there's no she in there.
Anything else?
Chairhead to get information that comes forward ever for an entire season. I don't know what this, let's see. Transparency is huge.
I just leave it.
You'd leave it?
Yeah.
Forward ever. Comes forward. And information ever comes forward. For an entire season? Leave out ever?
Yeah. Well, I guess we can take ever out.
Yeah.
Just take ever out.
Do you know what we're talking about, Naomi?
Got no clue.
All
Okay,
right.
the third line up in,
It starts information, and information in the Lori Davis paragraph
Okay, transportation is huge.
never comes forward.
for an entire season. Just take ever out.
Okay.
Anything else on 6? 7?
No, 7, Rep. First line. Asked if.
Not it.
All right. And then Chairman Hippler. If you go into the line, it says everything, it should be everyone.
See it?
You see it?
All right.
Staffing discussion, third line, the last word is position on the line. Put an A before it, adding a position.
Efficiently as possible, whether that is restructuring some current position.
Or adding a position. Okay. And the next paragraph starts with Janine. Stated instead of, yeah,
State, yeah.
yeah.
Anything else on 7? 8?
I only have one on this page. Under the Neil Kirk paragraph, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth line up. It starts with exact. Instead of converse, I think it should be reverse of what we are looking for. The reverse of what we're looking for.
Okay.
Did you see it?
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to put it all together.
Exact.
Yeah, I would say reverse. Anything else on 8? 9?
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Seventh line down. This is it. After fire wards, the comma. It's worrying about a nothing issue, I think it should be.
Starts out or worry about them being under the Board of Fire Wards.
What paragraph are we on?
First paragraph
one.
of 9.
Sorry.
The sentence starts out or worry about halfway down. What it?
It's worrying about a nothing issue. So add an S apostrophe S, it's worrying, and then add the word a between about and nothing.
Okay.
Several communities, the next sentence. After Litchfield, it says R1, it should be is one.
Mm-hmm.
Then go down to the paragraph that says Selectman Snyder stated that she is confused, not a confused. Just,
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if Naomi, did you get it, Naomi? Oh, sorry. The last sentence. Multifaceted. At the beginning of the sentence there, find a multifaceted person.
Employee?
Employee's good, yeah.
Yep, fine. Anything else on 9? 10?
I believe there was a no vote on this one.
Yes, should be 5-1.
For what?
The reappointment to
Steve,
conservation.
Conservation.
It wasn't a unanimous. Anything else on 10?
Nope.
11?
These minutes were April 15th, and this is talking about it on April 10th. We'll meet Wednesday, April 10th, so I don't know if that was what really was said
It might have been what
under
was written.
Mildred Hall.
It may have been what was written.
No, the trustees were meeting April 10th.
April
Yeah,
10th.
trustees were.
They meet on Wednesdays.
No, I know, but this was April 15th, so they wouldn't have been meeting, I mean, they wouldn't,
Maybe they met.
maybe they met?
Met.
Or they, or met?
No.
I don't know.
I would say
I had a
met.
question mark, that's all I.
I would say
that's why.
met Wednesday,
Wednesday.
April 10th,
Yeah.
followed
About
with,
Wednesday.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then under the town hall list of projects,
Mm-hmm.
I think that the rod on the rakes is what we were talking about. We'll have Walker Roofing reevaluate the rot on the rakes while they are up in the lift. So that needs to be added in there. I think,
That makes sense.
right? Yeah. The bell tower, the last sentence, I think chooses OSC.
That shows. Color. Anything else on 11? 12?
Yeah, that's okay.
13?
I didn't find anything there either. Yeah, I'm all done.
14?
I must have fallen asleep. No,
We have 15.
There's no 15. All right. Entertain motion?
Make a motion, we accept the amended minutes for April 15th, 2019 as amended.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Manifest, that's me. All right, move to order the treasurer to sign accounts payable, payroll and accounts payables checks dated May 9th, 2019 is including the following manifest. Payroll manifest of $53,321.56 for weekly payroll, and accounts payable manifest of $17,984.84. Supplemental accounts payable of $17,704.
Which I have.
I was gonna say, I don't remember seeing that. What's that all about?
It's gonna take a motion,
Okay,
because, Walker Roofing's gonna start tomorrow.
yep,
The contract was a third when you signed the contract, which is what put us in the spot.
yep,
A third when they start,
yep.
and a third upon completion.
Okay.
So 17,704 is the second third.
Okay.
which I have a manifest,
Uh-huh.
I have a check, and I have a voucher from the capital reserve, which is where the money went.
Okay.
Okay.
Supplemental accounts payable manifest $17,704 and a Weare School District manifest of $450,000 for a total of $539 and $10.40. There's a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. I meant to ask Tina how money was going today, but I forgot.
I asked before I supplied
Okay.
mine, and we have enough.
Okay, good.
It's my
Okay.
understanding that hopefully next Monday you'll have the stuff from assessing, so that we
Uh-huh.
can sign that, hopefully. And then
We'll
we'll
get
do
tax
our-
bills out.
we'll hopefully get our tax bills out. We always get them out around Memorial Day.
Mm-hmm.
We need a motion on this. You
I
said
Uh,
think we do, right?
Yeah, you do, because you want to take the money out of the.
The
Capital Reserve.
Great.
Make a motion that we remove $17,704 out of the Government Building and Maintenance Capital Reserve Fund, payable to Walker and Company Roofing and Construction for the second payment to them for repairs to the Town Hall bell tower, and that would be under Article number 14 that passed in 2018.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Well, that'll start my report, I guess.
Okay.
While we're in the same vein, I did speak with them. They are going to start tomorrow.
Good.
If we could only get a couple of dry weeks,
Yeah.
it would be nice. So it's gonna be spotty. If we get rain Thursday and Friday, you won't see them. But they are going to start. I have reached out to the senior size as well as the yoga to let them know that, basically in speaking with Walker Roofing, they're going to cone it off to keep people from out of that area.
Okay.
Speaking a little further with Tom, he didn't feel the need to cancel the stuff. Is if the person in charge, they could go through the front door, and they're basically gonna keep the front and the side kind of coned off for nobody to be in. Now the signs, and I don't think I have to drag tape out, but the cones mean that nobody goes in. And so he would let them go in, unlock the door, but then over to the handicap ramp is let them come in. It's kind of towards the back of the building. And then there'd be some sort of coordination so that they could lock the door.
Yep.
I mean, we'll do our best. I'm hoping that we get some dry weather to get them to work along. But in the meantime, I've left messages for everybody. A lot of it has to do with at nighttime, you can use the building anyway. So it's really just the yoga, the senior exercise that are, may or may not be impacted, but I guess they can work through that. He's willing to work with everybody and not, it doesn't, he understands, because it could be 3 weeks. So I just wanted everybody to know that it's going to be started.
Yeah, and to carry on with that a little bit, I mean, the insurance carriers, between the town and also Walkers, we can't have anybody over there.
Yeah.
We can't have any members of the public really around that. I mean, it's a working job site. So nobody can be over there. And I'm sure that, because of the historical aspect of it, I'm sure Sherry will be, in and out. She has a rapport with Walker. I'm kind of gonna go on a limb here, but I think we should probably have Sherry be our liaison between the board and,
Well, I certainly don't have time to do it.
right.
And
I'm
I
just-
think that's a perfect. And the other thing is, I'd like Sherry to take them over, or somebody over to the barns.
Yep.
Because I don't. I mean, if she would
Yep.
do that, I think that's a perfect
Right.
suggestion. Kind of takes the
Yep.
heat off me trying to pay
Well,
attention to
that,
what's
and
going
then I'll
on.
get the product
stuff.
out of the stone building too for them, or they can take it out.
That's right,
All
too,
on
'cause the
stone
paint's
building,
there,
get it
yeah.
out.
Right, so I mean, if anything monetary has to, change, obviously it comes to the board, but, I'm sure that,
They're supposed to give us some kind of a price to do that. We haven't seen that.
No, he's, I don't know how many hours we're looking at, that's why I said, he wasn't sure how many hours or what we were actually asking him to do, which that's why I would
Take it
rather.
down.
right,
Yeah.
yeah, but again, if there's any monetary, come back, but I'm just thinking for, accuracy of work more than anything.
Yeah,
So,
no,
If
and
the,
there's a
if the board's all
report.
right with that,
And there's a
Yeah, that's
report
fine.
there, so,
right,
while we're on that, we might as well just continue down the government building. Obviously, the rod on the rake, Sherry and him can have a conversation, the bell tower, Gordon Brown buildings.
right.
The gazebo, like I said, we're kinda in limbo a little bit. I don't know, I think it looks good there, empty, but that's my 2 cents.
It'll look good with a new building there.
Yes.
We can hope. Other than that, I do have one little snag, the, camera. No, we ordered it, but we never authorized the signing of the new change order.
Oh,
So, no, you made the motion and where you were gonna pay for it, but
We never
there's
signed
you
it.
need to sign, he's ordered it, and I just need to get that to him first thing in the morning so that we can get him scheduled,
okay,
to get here, hopefully
that'd be
at the
nice.
same
yeah,
time.
that'd be nice.
So,
So you need
a motion.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we allow the chairman, Mr. Hippler, to sign the upcharge for the cameras for the safety complex to PASIC Security Company in the total of $1,030.98 to get the camera system completed at the safety complex.
There a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Put your John Henry on it. Send that bill too.
Yeah.
His name's-
Just, I know there's, and I don't wanna say it's an urgency, but the DPW roof leak, with rain every other day, I mean, we'd like it nice and dry before we take that off there.
Yeah.
So, I know it seems like it might be taking a while, but I can't, Mother Nature's gotta,
Yeah.
we gotta cooperate, cause if we're gonna leave it open or expose it, it's gotta be A, dry, and it's B, you know what I mean? He's watching the weather just like anybody is. So I just don't want you to think that it's just lallying around, cause it's not. So that's that. The other, I don't have a whole lot, to discuss. As we heard earlier tonight, I had a deadline of 5/17 for ACO, but 5/17 or 5/20 is, 5/17 is Friday, 5/20 is Monday, not a big deal. But let's, sorry, before we go back, let's go back to the safety complex roof if you want to, let's finish that out. When we left last week,
Yep,
you had gone from top to bottom.
yep,
And basically, we ranged from a 55,890 to a 79,800. And at the same time, we selected, did it complete their bid or did it not? We had some with no references, some with no insurance, but I still kept them in the
yep.
top to bottom line, because I've heard from some people. So you asked me to take number 3 of Century Roofing and number 4 and call their references. I will do the Century Roofing because he's the lower bid. Century Roofing has done a church in New London, and he did it about 2 years ago. The workmanship, because I asked him about workmanship, schedule, cleanness, overall experience. So he's done it for 2 years. Workmanship is exactly what they should have expected and got. Very fine quality. He did stay on schedule. He They actually did the roof in one day. There was 12 men
Wow.
arrived on the job. They were supposed to start at 7:30, and when the guy in charge for the overseeing got there at 7:25, they were all on the roof taking it off. And by 5 or 6, it was done and cleaned up. And then they go around and clean up with what he called he said it looked like a lawnmower, but it was a magnet.
Yep.
And they picked up everything. No one's ever had a flat tire. He said we couldn't have got any, but he was led to them by, I don't know if you know them, this is he called it a high-end builder called Old Hampshire Design from New
Yes.
London.
Yeah,
Yep, I know him.
They do all of their roofs. The Century Roofing does.
yeah.
He said he just said it was excellent quality, and a lot of people, Old Hampshire Design was the initial contact that they made to reach him. He said he's very, the quality was there, they were in and out in no time. The other, the Keystone Property Management that had several large commercial projects, we played phone tag, so I really never spoke to him on that, and those were and then I tried Hopkinton and never got an answer, and that was at the St. Andrew's Church in Hopkinton. So, I don't know what you want to do with that one, where he is low. I did make the few phone calls on the number 4. Number 4, I got probably equally as good references as Century.
Was that the gentleman that was in the?
Yes, yep. Same deal. I mean, they had a very good work ethic. He was there every day. It was on time, very conscientious. Everything was cleaned at the end of the night. A lot of people, once you put your sign out, everybody calls you again for a roof. So there's been a lot of people that have also, done roofing. But so I spoke with a Wakefield Investments, Jim Shelzy, and I also spoke with Doug Grant from State Motors Lincoln Dealership. The other two never returned. There was no contact information for the Merrimack condo given here, and the gentleman for the Sound House LLC, I never got back an email. So, not sure how you want to proceed. This was 3, this was 4. You're talking a matter of $1,250.
The only thing I had a question about was when he was talking, I took some notes that
Yep.
he was using Grace Ice and Water Shield and Harvey Building Products, that Rhino Roof synthetic underlayment, which isn't what goes along with this Certainteen shingle. And I thought in that paperwork that we wanted everything to match up, and that we wanted to make sure that we got the guarantee that he was a fully factory authorized and certified for that product. And if you're gonna mix other products together with the shingles, I don't know if that voids your warranty.
With the one that was here, he was number 4.
Yeah,
Yep.
Well, the ice and water shield, that's,
they have their own brand though. They have their own ice and water shield.
yeah, well, I
And they
mean, they're the
also
most,
have their own underlayment.
Grace is the most common, and it's the other one, Harvey. I don't think,
I'm just
we
saying, I think you need
I don't think
to
we
verify
specified
that.
for the underlayment. I thought we
I think we
used
wanted-
best practices, I think, is what we best
But I think that,
I think
was
he-
for application. rather than
application
product.
in the product, but,
I just think you better make sure that something in writing, if you go that way, that you're gonna get the 50-year warranty, because if they
Well,
come
there's-
back and say, well, you didn't use our product for the underlayment, you didn't use our product,
think
I don't
that-
want it to be a black eye for us, that's all.
I don't think the underlayment has to do with the 50-year warranty on the shingles. The shingles are put
Oh, I
up to
see
the
you're saying
installation and
he's
the weather.
mixing- I know,
He's
sorry.
he's mixing products.
Yeah, he is. He's mixing the,
Mixing
I
the
think
ice and
probably-
he's
water.
mixing the ice,
Ice and
Grace
water
Ice and
shield, the
water
Harvey Building
with a
product.
Rhino.
And I'll
Rhino.
tell you, probably the most of them will be
Tube
mixed.
Ridge
Nope,
event
this
is another.
one-
and
This
then
one's
the-
using Owens Corning,
and through.
Weatherlock, self-sealing ice and water.
Yep.
But he's also got the Rhino synthetic underlayment, not covered. Hang on, his says install Rhino synthetic underlayment to all roof areas not covered with the ice and water shield.
Yeah.
But the other ones for the protection at the 9 feet at all eaves, 3 feet at all valleys. That's where he's using the Owens Corning.
Which is the same as the
Lock
shingles.
C, Lock G, and then he's also doing the Owens Corning Starter Plus shingle and the Owens Corning True Definition Lifetime shingle. We're supposed to pick the color. And then there's Owens Corning Vent, Ridge Vent, and then there's Owens Corning Pro Edge. All shingles will be installed with 6 nails. Replace plumbing vent boot, install clear sealant where neoprene boot meets the plumbing pipe.
Now, I just had a brain cramp while we were sitting here.
What's that?
This ridge vent, was that roof cut for it?
I
They'll
don't
cut
know,
it.
you may have, I didn't crawl up in there, but.
I didn't see, I didn't look.
No, but they'll cut it. They'll take a saw
Yeah,
and
but there
cut
may
it.
be, because that's trust, you may have a ridge pole down the middle of that too, just have to remember. I
they
didn't
cut-
climb up in there.
They cut on either, they'll cut either side of it, they'll find out.
Right, I just don't know if there was a, I mean,
I
obviously
don't
it probably wasn't cut already because we
There's a
don't have a
ridge-
ridge vent there.
That's
I
right,
mean,
there's
most,
no ridge vent.
every house you ever built is a ridge pole. So, I mean, you cut either side of it. You take a saw and you cut either side of it, and you cut out, so much on each
Yeah,
side
2
of the
3
ridge
inches or
pole.
whatever, yeah. So, but I guess it wouldn't hurt. I just, again, I don't mind asking that, but on the other side of it too is I don't wanna keep pushing this off week after week.
No,
Well, I think,
Because I think we're gonna
get into the
I
rainy
think,
weather.
I think
Timed out.
You're gonna get in the
Century,
fall rain.
Century, the lowest
Timed out.
bidder, they've got it locked in that they're using that product.
well, 9, this,
Except
the
for
other
the
thing too is,
underlayment.
what's the
But,
difference?
I mean, that underlayment, okay, so what are you gonna do? You're gonna find out if they use tar paper, you're gonna find out they're gonna use Owens Corning tar paper, they don't make it.
No,
Yeah.
but they have their own, I'm sure they have their own, I don't know why he's using it. Maybe he just
So all
prefers
this
it.
maybe is available too.
No, I mean, I know it
Maybe
isn't with
saving
Surgeon,
cost.
I know they have their own underlayment, I looked it up.
Well, I mean, you have the other guy that's gonna.
And we
be
don't know
doing
what the
that.
drip edge is. I just want to make sure when we're going to do it and do it right, that's all.
Well, I
That's
agree.
the only thing I
Well, we
want.
specified that they're gonna put what we wanted for drip edge.
No, we didn't talk about,
I
Oh,
mean,
did that come in after the fact about the drip edge?
no,
Was
no,
that
I'm
in
just
the
saying,
RFP?
did we talk about how many feet? This
Of-
one says 9 feet of all the eaves, 3 feet of all the valleys.
Yep.
Rakes and penetration,
That's-
full
that's-
coverage on any low slope area is deemed necessary. And then this one
Three.
here, which was,
Yep.
says that he's only gonna do 6 feet.
Which,
Yeah.
the
Oh.
rolls are 3 feet wide, so
Yeah,
he's
so
using
it's-
3 rolls, he's
It
going
says
up 9
to
feet.
install the first 6 feet
So
of
he's
the roof.
putting more in.
using more than 3 rolls. that's
And
all.
all valleys extended 3 feet out,
Each.
so he's still doing 9 and some.
3
6
wide, it's 3, each roll is
3 feet wide, he's
is
going
3
up
feet
3
wide, so he's
times.
going up 3 times, which is a best practice.
And that was, Century was the one for you?
Century was 9 feet, 3 feet at all
And
valleys.
3 feet in all the valleys.
And using most of the like product together.
Yeah, they're using Owens, except for the Rhino synthetic on areas not covered
Yeah.
by the water and ice shield.
There we go, I mean,
Yeah,
I'd almost,
I'm gonna move that we accept Century Roofing's bid
is there a second?
of, should I put the dollar amount of, I had,
Was it 50
58 even.
okay, 58,000 even.
come from?
What?
Come from?
Come from,
What,
where's the money coming from?
Yeah.
Oh,
Buildings and maintenance fund.
yeah,
It's
Government Buildings and Maintenance Fund.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
I
Opposed? Abstentions?
I also want to tell you, I think that he was fortunate enough to be here that night, to be able to give that
Yep.
proof of insurance as well.
And I don't think that
I mean,
was-
I don't know if
I
that
don't
was
think that was
really,
entirely proper, but okay.
I don't either.
It was
I didn't want to make
Unfair to
that,
anybody else.
right.
But then
Well,
again,
yes.
too,
Had
it's,
that
the
opportunity.
door,
That's right.
the door was open to every other.
No, but I mean, to
No.
have him come up and show it on his
on
phone.
his phone.
But
But
again.
I don't think was proper, because you'd have to reopen it to everybody that didn't have it.
Exactly.
That didn't have a.
Now,
insurance.
we have to pick a color, so do I get a color sheet from him now before we pick a color? What do I need to do?
I would get a color sheet,
Yeah, I would
yeah.
get-
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think we're gonna change very far from black, but
Yeah.
You might wanna not
But
have
I'm
black, 'cause
thinking
it draws
maybe
the heat
because of
like hell.
temperature.
You might wanna do something
Like a
like
slate
medium
brown
gray or
almost,
medium
Or
gray or
gray,
something.
Yeah, medium gray might not hurt.
Yeah.
Keep it down a couple degrees.
Few degrees.
Yeah, you don't wanna, you know, some of them.
Now's the time to change it before they
Yeah.
change the color.
It just says color to be determined by us.
Yep. So if we
Yeah.
give this a
So
color
I'll have to
chart.
get a hold of him and see if there's a chart.
Olin's going
And then
in.
next Monday you can pick the color.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Because it's, by the time I
But
get
then he
hold
can
of him
walk us into
Tuesday.
into a spot and everything like that.
Yep.
So,
Okay,
sounds good to me.
all right. Thank you. Almost forgot it, I circled it and almost forgot. Mildred Hall, I emailed to see where we are in the process, only because they have to do everything by June 30th. I didn't get an answer back before we came down here, I don't know that I got an answer back. No. No answer back. Let's hop down, staffing changes / discussion. I'm not gonna discuss anything tonight, cause I don't have anything, but, we're down to 3 weeks.
Yep.
I'm not sure. I guess I got an idea, but I'm not gonna until I talk to, I think Wendy, Bob, Chip, myself, we all have to put our heads together to see what's gonna work for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think whatever we decide, whether you decide that it, we take a step at a time, I guess I'm just gonna throw out there, if the answer is to just hire MRI, keep in mind that if you hire MRI and that's the only thing you do for the first step, that you're burying Wendy a little bit further because she would have to do the planning and the zoning and everything else.
Right.
Or nobody would. So, I mean, it's gotta have maybe a 2-step plan. Not quite sure how we're gonna do it.
What
See,
if
I don't know
we-
why we're not.
I mean, what if we take all of the paperwork that's gotta be digitized and just send it out to a company and have them do it? And get that off the plate completely?
I don't think it's that easy, though.
I don't think it's
There's
that
a lot
easy
of
either.
doubles, there's a lot of things in there.
The files need to be
I mean, you
cleaned
could
as
go
we
to any file, and there's a lot of doubles of stuff, and there's a lot of things
They need to be cleaned
that
out.
probably need to be looked at, to have some knowledge
Some of them may
here.
have to stay because they may be unique to that.
Right.
I'm just saying, I don't have the answer right now, but I just don't want the answer to just fall and say, well, let's hire MRI and wait,
And go,
because that doesn't take care of your planning and zoning.
Right.
No, but on the other hand, I mean, that was where she wanted to go with it. That's one more step that she's not getting to, but I still think that there's quite a bit of work that goes on during the day that she could use assistance with. I mean, that's one big thing she's not getting done that she wants to get done.
No, I mean, you have to do the planning for the zoning and
The zoning.
planning
and the
board
pla-
and
I mean, there's 4
CBA.
plans right now for this month,
yeah,
Right.
for the planning board.
plus to do the minutes and
No,
not
no, the minutes
the
are done.
agenda rather.
The minutes are done,
Yeah,
but
the
the
agenda.
agenda, the abutters notice and
This is-
everything
yeah.
else.
That's what I meant.
I
the
would,
agenda.
I would still like to see the building inspector and code enforcement be together. Because that,
Yeah.
as the one position, I mean, as the position for Chip's old position.
You mean have it stay here in the?
Yes, stay
under the
here
selectmen's?
and do it for now. I mean, maybe there's something we can do in the future that would be different, but I really think, because even from the input from the audience, the lady said it was nice to have the person that was the building inspector and the code enforcement knowing what they're telling the person to do and then coming and inspecting it. So, I mean,
Now-
I would like to keep it together.
Now that eliminates an outside vendor as far as I'm concerned, but does that eliminate the proposal from the fire chief? Because, I mean, that could still be one person. I'm just thinking out
Well,
loud.
well, can it be one person? How can a person do, I mean, you're gonna put a person over there that's not under there right now? I mean, I really do have a fear of this. I mean, Neil did bring up a good point, not that about being under the Board of Fire Wards. And, I mean,
Well, they do, let's put it this way, the fire department does inspections on
I haven't
boilers.
seen him here to tell us what it is all about.
Does
That's-
the boilers, does the, the
I
heating systems,
understand,
which they're
right,
required to, gas
yeah.
installations, oil
Right,
installations,
but they don't
so forth.
inspect buildings.
No, not even close.
Some towns they do.
Yeah, I don't think it's that
Well,
many.
I mean, the only other thing is that they've got septic, Chip does septics, which we don't have to do. It's an added-on thing. We can refer that back to the state, and DES can come do septic systems.
I mean, we haven't even thought about putting this out to bid. I'm putting something out in the paper to see
As far as
what, that if there's
Well, that's
somebody
what I was
available
trying
to
to
do
do.
that job on a full-time basis.
Do
Here.
you want a full-time basis, or do you want somebody part-time?
Or do you want to try and
And-
change the position? Because what I'm gathering is you guys don't want to change the position at all.
Change comes hard around here.
What?
I'm gathering.
I don't
is-
mind it
comes
going to the
harder.
fire department.
What I'm gathering is you guys
I'm
don't
just
want to change
looking
anything.
at, I mean,
about
we're,
What do
we're,
you mean? That isn't what I'm saying, no.
Well, no, you said you want to keep code enforcement and
Building
and
inspector.
building inspector as one, and that's the way it is now.
Right.
So that's
But we're
keep-
talking about help for Wendy. We're not talking about, I mean, we're talking about this too. Is-
But-
You're talking about it
I'm not,
going.
I wasn't, and I apologize, I mean, there's a lot of thought that's been going on as to how we could make it work. It's just, I'm not ready for that, I just don't know, I'm just reminding you that it's 3 weeks. And if the thought is to just hire MRI or somebody to do the inspections to keep us moving,
You're gonna bury.
you're gonna bury Wendy, and fear of one more down is all I can think of. I mean, there's enough
only-
going on here. We're right heart in the middle. She is trying to get the warrant together, so nobody says that she's beyond the 15th.
Yeah.
So, I mean, right now is, I mean, we've talked about it, and I think there's maybe a two-step approach, but,
I'd
you know
say-
what I mean? I think that, as I said before the whole time when he gave his notice 2 months ago, that, you know, this is a time to make a move, if
I
you're
think-
going to make a move.
I think that, looking at that, like you said, I think one of the things is, possibly go to another town and have mutual aid to come
Yeah,
down
we
and do
haven't- I
it.
haven't done
And we
that
have
yet.
that.
Yeah.
The other thing is, in the meantime, and that's covered, they're not gonna be there every day, and okay, so people have to schedule appointments, and I'm sorry, but,
It's a
sometimes.
transition period.
It's a transition period, and sometimes that goes on in all places that are full-time. They're not there. We're lucky that Chip's been doing that. And then look at more so, putting more emphasis on hiring additional help to help her in that
But it's not
office.
just, it's to take up where we're gonna have a hole.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
And that'll take
You know.
up, get a couple people in there to help her, and then take up the slack that's gonna be left by the fact that, you have the agendas to do for the planning and the zoning and to get out.
yeah,
the
I think
abutters
he's got
notice.
those done for the month of May, but,
Yes.
the deadline's gonna roll up
And the
here.
last meeting is what?
for
the
June.
23rd, I think, is
Yeah,
the last meeting
right, it's
he's got,
before he
so.
leaves.
But-
So all of that's
But how
been
many
done.
houses do we have for him to look at up at, Cortland Ave? I mean, there's a heck of a lot going on up there right
It's up there
now.
almost every day when I've talked to him the past
I
week.
know.
They're
I
gonna
know.
go up 6 or 7 times in the course of a build. That's what they have to do
Yeah.
for every
Right.
house. So he's there 6 to 7 times.
Right.
And they schedule sometimes for him to go up there. They make an
Yeah.
appointment. But I know he's been going up there almost constantly. This
Right,
pa-
and now
even
we're
in the-
selling
Because the
lots on
houses
Duck
are
Pond.
Well, he doesn't have anything to do with that till they
He
get
might go up
started.
once and spend
No,
3
I know.
hours there, or
Yep.
another day goes up once and he's
I mean,
there a
that's my
half hour.
concern,
You never
and-
know.
So, but I mean, and when they build, what they're gonna have to do is, these contractors are gonna have to, if we have someone that's mutual aid to come in and fill the slot, they're gonna have to call down here
And you
and
could
say,
probably-
geez, I need to have the building inspector, and have him call them back and set an appointment. And that's, unfortunately, that's the way it's gonna have to be.
I mean, let's face it, the building has been down. And now it's picking up.
I don't know, yeah, it's been,
That's
it's,
what I'm saying.
It's been down. There
Look,
hasn't
the
been
last
that
couple
much
of
going
years.
look at the
Right.
permits for the past couple of years that they've issued out of there, the
Right,
building permits.
yeah.
But on
Quite
the
a
other
bit.
side of it,
Yeah.
I think what and I know it was a tentative, but that plan that Naomi approached to us after they met, included a part-time, part-time position, and then it was with I know Frank hates the word savings, but with the savings from not having the full-time and not having the retirement, et cetera, then we could fund the
Part-time people.
The part-time people. But if we keep a position in as basically status quo
Okay.
with a
We're not gonna
building
have
and code enforcement full-time, that will not happen. We won't have the
I
funding.
didn't necessarily say full-time or part-time. I'm just saying we put out the position out there. I mean, it could be a 30-hour position.
Right.
Right.
I think going for the giving the breathing room for it, I think will help, you know, that's what I'm saying.
Right, and I think you're right about that, is, you know, we really need to zoom, you know, really focus in on what we're gonna do with that, if we're gonna change it up or we're not gonna change it up. But I
I'm
think,
not saying she doesn't need help.
Right.
I'm just saying that I think that we ought to do something, get something out there.
Well, my goal is next Monday to have a plan. You're either gonna accept it or you're not gonna accept it, I guess.
right,
Okay.
Right. I
But
mean, I
that
like
would
the
be
idea.
it with a collaboration effort of Wendy, Bob, myself, Beth, and Chip to
Mm-hmm.
come up with where we are,
yeah,
what we need the most, because
I
there is
would
gonna
agree.
be an immediate, there's gonna be an immediate need.
I would agree,
And the immediate need isn't just dump it in somebody else's lap.
absolutely not, no,
It's just, there's not enough to do.
Can't do that.
but I think,
Because what happens is what doesn't happen is they come upstairs because I used to do it for years. And people come in and are always, John's been there before. I get people sent upstairs to talk about zoning applications and planning board and everything else, because that's what I used to do. So if we drop it, it's just gonna be burdensome for somebody.
yeah,
And it's
No,
just,
but-
so next week, next week,
yeah.
Is that something Mary could take over upstairs? Could she do part of this, some of this?
well, she's not due back till the 20th.
Oh, I know, I'm
so-
just saying, but once she's back, or? Just a thought.
Yeah. The other thing you're gonna have
I
is,
think- but I
keep
mean
in mind where you're gonna put everybody.
But the thing
This
is,
building is not conducive to any renovations of,
No,
you know, there's gonna have to be, you know, I don't know.
the thing is though, you know, Mary being upstairs is not gonna help the situation downstairs.
no,
So
No, the
that's,
person would have to be down here.
yeah, so, I mean, the thing is, you can't, you'd have to have somebody that's all they're gonna do, because
Right.
just the stuff that goes in and out of that office on a daily basis, when I've sat in there just for an hour, it's enough to boggle your mind.
And you also are gonna have to find a certain somebody that's gonna be able to, because they can talk to somebody and then say, Wendy, can you help me? Or somebody, can you help me? Or,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's gonna take a while to train.
I was just gonna say, that's
If you're
gonna be the
not
other-
familiar with that.
Yeah, and it's trying to do other duties that like Mary's doing now with welfare and everything else, you can't throw them into that to try and do.
So next week-
Problem with that is Wendy's not gonna have time to really train them.
No, they're gonna have to come in running.
No.
They're gonna have to hit the, somebody's gonna be able to hit the
It's gonna be
ground.
the
Run it.
busy time for all
Yeah.
this, yeah.
She'll have some time if we do it sooner rather than later, just enough to get
Exactly.
them going.
Right.
But if we wait, no.
right.
So
but-
next week, our plan would be to have some discussion, and I'd like to have that as part of the agenda.
Yep.
And ask that, you know, Wendy and Bob and Beth and everybody that's part of
Chip,
it come
yeah,
in.
even
and
Chip, yeah.
Yes, please.
Just to have, I mean, you're looking at that point for 2 weeks after that we have to make a change.
Yeah.
And I think we need to put our mutual aid partners on standby.
Yep.
You know, just
I
let them
mean,
know.
like you said, and then again, depending on what her status is with her other job, we could always draw upon Kelly. Maybe she can go back to getting her certification and look at some of it, because she's done it for,
Oh,
she started doing it in Henniker years ago, and I ran it, Hillsborough,
Who are we talking about?
Dunbarton,
Our
here.
health officer.
Oh,
Kelly
okay.
Dearborn Lewis, and she does a great job. She did a mutual aid for me before in Bradford, so I mean, she's done a,
Well, let's plan on having some time next week, because next week, in looking ahead to next week, no one's asked to come in, so we don't have, our agenda's pretty light like it is tonight, that I think we should take the
Absolutely. Time.
dedicated time
the
to
opportunity,
I agree.
plan.
Yep.
do it.
It's not gonna be perfect right away, I think it's gonna be tweaking as you go, but I think that's what you have to do. I threw 13 on there, I know Ricky, you had said before you you didn't wanna discuss the summer schedule right now.
Right.
I didn't want you to lose track of it.
Nope.
We do have on the 20th, you are gonna see Parks and Rec to hire for the,
Somehow.
summer help.
Yep.
You're gonna see Benji come in for the award of the $2.5 million, not the award,
Oh, the
is the bids for that amount of pavement.
Yeah.
So you're gonna see that on the 20th, and then, so you have 2 more weeks before Memorial Day anyway.
Right.
But if we can get the safety complex started, the bell tower will be started, the Gordon Brown building will be started. I mean, I think we've chipped away pretty well.
Yep.
Right.
We just, you know,
Yeah,
I'll
the
just leave it
gazebo.
on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just leave it now, but again, I don't wanna get too excited yet
You know,
for the week offs.
Well, I'm just saying that that's how I plan my vacation, I'll say it right out. Because I usually, that's the only time, I can't get away for a week at a time like everybody else can.
Yeah.
Because nobody does my work while I'm gone. So typically what I do is I take the Thursday, Friday, Monday of the Monday we're not meeting.
Mhm.
It makes 5 days that I can still have in one block, but, doesn't have to be done tonight.
Right.
And lo and behold, I should be here all week, Lord willing, so. Do you have the, there should be, is there signatures on that other policy? or-
Everything except for the policy that has
Okay.
the signatures.
I would like to move that we have as the town coordinator Beth Rouse, the finance administrator, on this document because it's right here that it needs to be filled in, and then it needs to be filled in the back. And we went over that all today with the bond council. Everything's all set. Everybody knows, you know, what needs to be done, and Beth is right on top of everything too, so I think we should nominate her. So, I don't know.
Or at least authorize it, to do it, yeah, I agree.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, then I think all you guys can do is now adopt the policy, right?
Right, and fill her name in.
Yeah, we can do that.
Well, yeah,
So you
I'll
made
let Neil
the
do that.
motion to authorize the finance administrator as being the contact person, but
Yep.
Yeah.
that doesn't accept the policy per se.
Right, move to accept the policy as written.
Right.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'll further add to that, the bond bank, we've gotten 2 quotes from a bank, and the bond bank has sent out some paperwork that I didn't bring forward, because, I have till the
Okay.
20th to do that. But they're giving us a
Projected.
no more than 3.75 on their paperwork. But I'm gonna get a preliminary rate from them on the 17th. And if their preliminary rate is down in the 2s like it is, then I would probably ask that you sign that and we go with that.
Board. Yep.
Right now, both banks, one was 3.5, one was 3.51.
okay.
So,
See what the bond
their
bank comes with.
paperwork just gives them an out, it'd be no more than, but their last 10 years has been less than 3.
Yep.
Their,
Let's hope
you
it
know,
stays
their
that way.
average, so. All right, and I don't need non-public tonight, I think
That's it?
all I have, folks.
Correspondence of the business?
Just want to mention or let the board know that the Historical Society probably will want to be doing maybe a little bit of work down at the Gordon Brown barn. Maybe some insulation in the middle section on the ground level floor. Maybe, and I'm not sure yet, maybe an update with some electrical.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
So I'm happy to
Okay.
take care of that.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
And the only other thing I have is, and it's not a complaint, but Carol went and did the work over for the gazebo, the electrical, and that came in around 2,200. He's not done yet.
Mhm.
And that probably should have gone out to bid.
He's our preferred electrical vendor.
Right. But I thought if it's over $1,000, it goes out to bid.
Well, at that point too, probably we should have put the gazebo out to bid, and we didn't,
Right.
Right,
But that,
because that's coming out of
yeah,
that.
but it's a donation,
Oh,
it's,
Right.
Yeah,
That's a donation, though.
Right.
It's a
well, is it his work coming under that also, or is
No.
it?
no.
We
but-
paid for his. You
But
weren't.
again, he's the preferred vendor, so.
I wasn't
Right.
here last week,
That's,
so yeah.
that, I don't know where that preferred vendor lays in.
No, I would say he's the preferred vendor that we went
I
with, so.
thought that was stuff for everything under
We-
1,000. If it's over, I
No,
thought
because
it
he
went
gave
to
us an
bid.
hourly rate, so we went
Right.
with his hourly rate for whatever work he did, so I don't
Right.
think that
I
comes under
think-
the bid for flat rate.
Not that I don't disagree 100%, but I
Because we're
think,
not even close to being done here. We'll probably have this much more again. I don't know. I don't have
We
a
do?
problem with
What
him.
else has to be done?
Well, he's gonna finish up over the odds and ends, but then the whole gazebo's gonna be electrified. He's gonna put lighting in the ceiling area and outlets, a couple outlets
Well,
probably.
like I said, he's a preferred vendor.
Well, I
He's the
think that-
lowest bid as far as
Well,
what he
it's
did
the same-
hourly rate, so
I
I
don't
think
know.
that's what we have.
Exactly.
So I
It's the
think we
same
did
as
bid it.
the furnace repairs. I mean, we went back and forth with that, but Irving is a preferred vendor, so.
Okay, I don't know, I didn't know
Yeah.
if there was,
No,
how the
I-
policy
Well, we
was,
asked-
I just wanted to make sure
We
we're
asked
doing it
for
right.
bids from different electricians that came in as to be the town electrician, and
Right.
he
Yeah.
awarded the bid at the rate that he got per hour, so I
Right.
think that's immaterial, so I think that we have to,
Yeah, I
so
think
we
so.
did bid
Yeah.
it.
That's my feeling.
That's,
Yeah,
I think. we-
yeah,
I think
that's
we-
what you guys feel.
No,
I
it's
just wanna-
it's a valid point. Absolutely.
I just wanted to follow up. Have we notified all the other departments that they are the preferred vendors? Okay, because I know we had a bill from somebody
Yeah.
else, so
Yep.
just
And
wanted to
it-
make sure.
Yeah, what Carol's done over there appears to be,
Right.
like he's done a good job.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. Like, yeah, no,
Yeah.
I can see both sides of that coin. Absolutely. Yeah.
Just a thought that if that's the policy, fine, but if it isn't, then,
I think it's because he's a preferred vendor. Yeah. I mean, if it was under that amount, we wouldn't even have thought twice. So.
right, no, I
Right. No,
It can be
I
it.
got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, but I think, like I said, we put out the whole job part to bid, so, and we took his work at that.
The only other thing I had was, on the tax deeding properties, the ones that we need to get people evicted.
Start the
I think we
process.
need to.
Start the
We have to
process.
pick a
Stop.
date
Huh?
as well.
Pick a date
Right,
for the auction.
I know
Oh, yeah.
it's probably
That's
in
down the road,
August,
yeah.
September, or whatever we're doing, but
Looking at before September.
You gotta have 90 days, so you'll have to be the end of August. If
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can put
September.
I was
right.
thinking October.
October, yeah, that's
October.
even better.
Okay.
Well, the only reason,
Well, it may
I don't,
take us
I
a
don't
while.
have that answer. There's an
No.
answer I need to have.
Right.
And I need to know why, we've been told to stay away from one. I gotta find that out.
Yeah,
Okay.
Well, actually, Laura said to get that one.
Mm-mm, that's one you stay away from.
Really? Okay, well,
So.
yeah.
Anybody else got anything? Just I was served earlier the week this
Yeah,
week.
when is somebody gonna share that with me?
Couldn't tell you. Me? You mean?
I mean, you were served, but, I mean, nobody left me a copy anywhere.
I don't know. And that's the other thing
Because
too, is I wasn't served in hand. It was
Doesn't have
stuffed.
to be,
It was stuffed in the door.
doesn't have to be.
Oh.
Served at the abode.
Left at the abode.
Left at the
Beautiful.
abode.
Do you have it at home, or?
I do have it home.
The only
I'll bring
one-
it in.
But
I'll bring it and drop it in.
Maureen should have got served,
Yeah, it's the other thing. Usually the town clerk and the highest
and
ranking
maybe
official gets
Chip,
it.
because it comes under ZBA.
Yeah, it's a appeal to Superior Court for the Quaker Street decision.
okay.
So.
What decision is
I'm
that?
glad they found the right house.
For
The guy across the road from you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad they found the right house to serve it on.
Could have been yours.
I know.
Could have gone to your house.
Yeah, could have been
Yeah.
your house.
I was laughing with
You're thinking your neighbors.
Evan today,
Ethan.
Christensen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ethan.
Ethan Riley. I was laughing with him today,
Yeah.
and I saw him and said, "Yeah." I says, "Yeah, I duck and dove you for a couple of days." Trying to prevent. He was here. I walked right by him.
I know you did.
Out the door
Yeah.
I went.
So.
Yeah, I guess I'll see if somebody can get me a copy.
All right,
and
I'll drop mine off.
Okay.
I don't have it with me.
Because
I'll
Because
drop it
the
off.
appropriate town council needs to reply, I'm sure, they're by day on the front.
Probably be
Yeah.
it'd be Bill Drescher. So
I think it's
Which
June.
will-
I think it's
We're
June.
meeting with him
Wednesday.
anyway, right?
Yeah.
yeah, he'll be in. He'll be in.
Yeah, but it wasn't addressed to anybody but the town
Right,
aware.
but we
and
have to
then-
have somebody file.
No,
an
no, 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 I
appearance.
know,
Yeah.
I know, no, I know.
Like I said,
But
Chip made it.
I'm just trying to think of who it was addressed to, and I don't think he was listed.
Chip wasn't.
No.
I'm shocked.
No, it was just the town.
Jack Dearborn.
No, no. So I'll bring it in.
You wanna guess?
Actually, it'll probably be here. I'll drop it off first thing in the
No, I'm
morning.
just surprised. 'cause he's,
Before you
he's
get here,
chairman
I'll
of
put it
the
upstairs.
ZBA and
Yeah, you can throw it upstairs, you can throw it in my mailbox in the meeting room.
Oh yeah, I'll throw it in the mailbox. Then.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
All right. Anything else? Motion to adjourn.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night.
Good night. Guess I'll go put a fire out.